and welcome to ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to entrepreneurship and startups. I'm Chandra Shrikant, joining you live from India's startup capital, Bangalore. And Krishna, we don't just have a power-packed show, but also a star-packed show over the next 20 minutes.
Oh, absolutely, Chandra. This is Krishna Kumar coming to you live from ET Now's Mumbai studios. First up, a check on all the headlines here at ET Now Startup Central. We kick off the show with an ET Now exclusive. Freshdesk makes its fifth acquisition in a year. More details on that acquisition and Freshdesk's plans coming up on the show. India's largest retailer, Flipkart, sees yet another top-level exit. Chief Product Officer Puneet Soni calls it a day. Even as the boardroom tussle rages on, at Microsoft, co-founder Vikas Jain hopes for an amicable resolution with former chairman Sanjay Kapoor. An exclusive chat coming up. On our Budding Stars segment today, we feature local services marketplace Urbanclap. And one of the most sought-after names in Bollywood today, Sunny Leone, shares her investment mantra in our special segment, Starstruck.
Krishna, as we promised, we kick off this edition of ET Now Startup Central with an exclusive, and that is on Freshdesk's new acquisition. Now, Freshdesk has acquired Airvoot, which marks its fifth acquisition in the last 12 months. Freshdesk, remember, is one of the most promising companies in the customer support software space, very sought after company there. And what Airvoot, the company they acquire, really does is it leverages machine learning to really improve customer support on social media. So, this is something that brands always struggle with. How do they really improve customer engagement, address queries very quickly? Airvoot has developed algorithms that really help brands do that. But to really get more perspective, we are joined exclusively by Freshdesk founder and CEO Girish Mathrubootham right here on the show. Girish, thank you so much for talking to ET Now first about this acquisition. I know you're not disclosing the transaction details, but take us through the integration roadmap in terms of Airvoot and Freshdesk going forward.
Yeah, so I think we have completed the acquisition of Airvoot. This is based in Delhi, and all the employees of Airvoot have already joined Freshdesk. So the plan is to integrate Airvoot's technology into Freshdesk's social media product.
All right, Girish, this is Krishna coming to you from ET Now's Mumbai studios. This is the fifth acquisition in the year gone by for Freshdesk. But tell us what really sets Airvoot apart in terms of the work that they do.
So, see, Freshdesk is not new to social media monitoring or helping brands engage on social media. As in fact, when we started the company, we called it Freshdesk because it was a fresh help desk which included social media support. What happened was, what we realized over the years was that we had built a manual way of helping brands engage with customers on social media, whereas what Airvoot had built was machine learning technology where a company can just plug and play. When they integrate Airvoot or when they use Airvoot, it automatically separates the marketing chatter on social media from the actual customer support needs that customers are asking a brand. So, if you take like any brand, 90% of their social media conversations are actually driven by marketing, PR, news, etc. So only 10% of the conversations are actually from customers trying to engage with the brand for a customer support purpose. So what Airvoot really does is they've built machine learning technology which automatically separates this marketing noise from the customer support signal.
Girish, considering Airwood already works with Snapdeal, is this also going to help you gain a better foothold in the whole consumer internet space, target more companies there? Because the level of customer engagement is really high when you look at online commerce. So is it going to help you in that way as well?
So online e-commerce is definitely one of the top focus areas, but also all leading technology brands. So I think there are brands like Ola Cabs is using Airwood. There are other, any brand that is a force to reckon with today has to deal with social media in their interactions. So in fact, the old contact centers are making way to the new customer engagement centers, which include social as a channel. So I think it's not just e-commerce, it's definitely a big segment, but not the only one.
All right, Girish, one last thing before we let you go. Tell us, so will this strategy of buying startups continue, going forward, particularly ones in the social customer support space?
We're not actually looking only at the social customer support space. We are broadly focused on the future of customer support and customer engagement. So, and we don't actually set out with a broad agenda of acquiring companies. We are very, very selective, and when opportunities come our way, we definitely like to look at the founders, look at the technology that they have built, and if it will give Freshdesk an advantage in terms of go-to-market, then definitely we would like to look at acquisitions.
Girish Mathrubootham of Freshdesk, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on ET Now Startup Central, and wishing you all the best from here on going forward. Moving on to the other big story that we're tracking over here, India's largest e-commerce player Flipkart has seen yet another high-profile exit today, with its chief product officer Puneet Soni stepping down. Soni was hired from Silicon Valley and was one of its highest paid executives, earning over $1 million a year. His departure follows that of Mukesh Bansal and Ankit Nagori in the recent months. Flipkart has confirmed Puneet Soni's exit. The exit comes at a time when Flipkart, under new CEO Binny Bansal, is facing off with Amazon and Snapdeal for more market share in a more cautious environment where funding has considerably dried up.
Krishna, in fact, we reached out to Puneet Soni to really get his version, and his statement was quite cordial. He said that he enjoyed his stint at Flipkart and that he will continue to be an ardent supporter even after leaving the company. But this has been around for the last 3 months at least, ever since Binny Bansal became CEO. There was buzz that Puneet Soni is on his way out, and it's finally official today. But moving on to the other big story, and this time it's from the cab aggregator space, where Uber has said that it's against the surge pricing norms released by the Transport Department of Karnataka recently, and that it is working with the state government on this issue. That's quite a strong statement coming in from Uber. Their first reaction really to the surge pricing norms released in the last week. Remember, they did release surge pricing norms which will of course have a direct impact on Uber and Ola, but Krishna, we really have to see how this goes going forward. While it is beneficial for customers, I guess Uber is not too happy, but whether the government's going to entertain their protest, that's something that we will be tracking for you over the next few days. And away from all that news, to the next special segment that we have on the show today. We're talking about our budding star segment, and the company we are featuring today is local services marketplace Urbanclap, a startup that prides itself on bringing everything from a carpenter to a beautician to your doorstep. We speak to Abhiraj Bhal, one of the co-founders of Urbanclap. Abhiraj, thank you so much for coming on ET Now Startup Central, and we really want to start by addressing some of the challenges in the local services space. And my first question, of course, is about Facebook beta testing local services in India. Are you really worried? How much of a threat is that going to be for you going forward?
So, actually, honestly, Facebook has been like facebook.com/services is a website that is live for the last 1.5 years or almost 1 year. It's just that recently some reporter discovered it. We're not really worried. I think number one, we have a very strong belief that the kind of operating model and the kind of depth that is required to win in local services as a category, a vertical player who deeply invests in this category, invests in customer experience, invests in not just discovery but also fulfillment, is eventually going to win. I think companies like Facebook, Amazon has toyed with local services in the US. It goes to show how attractive this space is, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a specialist player that's going to win.
Abhiraj, this is Krishna here. It's not just Facebook. Besides Facebook, classifieds platform Quicker has also forayed into this in a big way with its quicker doorstep and quicker services. How will you counter rivals like Quicker with deep pockets?
I think two fundamental beliefs that we have. One is of course that our ability to win in this very large category, given that we understand the space really well, we understand what it takes to create high quality customer experience, and we are fundamentally an entrepreneurial led team, so we will stand to significantly our odds that we will be able to execute better significantly stacked in favor of us against a VP in some large company. I think that's one. But I think secondly, I would actually go insofar as saying that for local services market in India, Urbanclap would be the one player that will probably over the next few years invest the maximum amount of capital as well. So it's not like we have any less capital than some of these guys have allocated for their respective verticals, and over time we will be the leading player when it comes to capital investment as well in this category, investing in building a large business. So I think on both fronts, not just the fact that, if you had spoken to me a year back, I would have told you that, hey, we are the Davids in the David versus Goliath battle, and so we will be able to beat any Goliath, whether it's a Google or a Facebook or a Just Dial or anybody else. But today I can fairly safely say that it's not just the fact that we are more entrepreneurial and more hustling in nature and understand the category better, but also just over time we will be able to invest most amount of capital, so we'll all be able to match anybody firepower for firepower.
Abhiraj, one of the criticisms against local services marketplaces is that they really operate on very poor unit economics. I mean, a service which is already of low value, they subsidize it further for customers, they lose money on the whole logistics chain. How would you really justify Urbanclap's model in this respect?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question, and I think, see, local services are of all kinds and types. There are basic home services and home repairs where the ticket sizes are much lower and the frequency of use is less, and hence fundamentally the unit economics are difficult to justify in some of those categories. Urbanclap is a horizontal platform, and we have multiple services which are more lifestyle in nature, services like fitness trainers, yoga trainers, wedding photographers, interior designers, and whenever a customer transacts for any of these services, be it a packer and a mover, be it a math tutor, be it a wedding caterer, a birthday party planner, the ticket sizes are so large that we more than justify the cost of acquisition of that customer, and therefore the lifetime value of that user is much larger than the initial cost of acquisition and the cost to serve. So I think that's been one thing that we've been very clear of strategically from day one, which is that over time we have to build a horizontal, so that while some categories might be kind of loss leaders, for the bulk of the market we are making a lot of money and we are able to cross-sell these users onto other categories, which is why I feel like a lot of other players who are just focusing on only home services as a vertical and not extending their offering to the customers beyond home services, they are set up for failure from day one, because only in home services as a vertical it's very hard to justify unit economics.
Abhiraj, I want to ask you, tell us what's going to be the focus for Urbanclap from here on? Is it going to be the premium service offerings, or will it be the low-end service offerings?
I think in every category, Urbanclap is already positioned as a high quality professionals platform. Whether it's a plumber or it's a wedding photographer or it's an interior designer or it's a beautician, our positioning is one of quality and trust. And obviously quality and trust does not come very, very cheap. So I don't think we are an expensive platform, but we're certainly not the cheapest platform that's out there. Thereby our current target segment is the middle class and the upper middle class. Specifically we target women, young working women, young moms, working mothers, because we believe that we help make their lives very simple in terms of bringing a salon to their home if they cannot go to a salon, in terms of helping in their home cleaning, upkeep and repairs, in terms of managing their kids' tuitions, managing their kids' extracurricular activities like a guitar lesson or a keyboard lesson, helping them stay fit through yoga, even planning their kids' birthday party. All of these services are basically attuned to that target segment of ours, and we want to stay sharply focused on that target segment for the next 1 or 2 years instead of wavering too much.
Finally, Abhiraj, your rivals like Local OA have laid off employees, and the story is the same when you look at housing, Food Panda, and even Car Dekho this week. Are you comfortable with the scale of operations you are at currently? Will that require a rethink?
I think, I think the Indian media and the Indian startup media is kind of seeing for the first time, the fact that there will be carcasses along the way when companies get built or startups get built, but this is a reality of startup ecosystems. The very definition of the word startup means you're not an established company. So some companies will die, some companies will do okay, some companies will do very well. Our bet is that we should continue to invest in our people, in our processes, in our suppliers, and in our customer experience, so that we are ahead of the curve and end up building a large, disruptive, legendary company. Right now, I think we're fairly comfortable because from day one, we've never believed in high burn. We've never believed in short-term strategies like discounting, basically we've run the ship very, very frugally, and hence I think we're in a very comfortable position in terms of capital. Our revenues are looking strong, and we're in this for the long haul.
All right, Abhiraj, we'll let it go at that. Abhiraj Bhal, co-founder of Urbanclap. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on 80 Now Startup Central. Moving on, Chandra, it is a Wednesday, but we are treating this as a Friday considering there's a long weekend that is coming up ahead of this. So it is time for our special segment, Starstruck, where today we feature none other than Sunny Leone. Here's Sunny Leone in conversation with our very own Rahul Dayama about everything from her money mantra to her investing in the game of cricket and how she's looking to focus on merchandising as an entrepreneur going forward. Take a look.
I believe in saving. I grew up in a household where my parents didn't have a lot of money. My brother and I got what we needed. Need and want are two different things. At least it was in my house. And so as soon as I started actually earning on my own, I started investing that money in different mutual funds. And I slowly learned how to save. It wasn't something that came naturally to me. But my husband, on the other hand, is great with numbers and figures and knowing where to invest our money. So I invest more than I buy jewelry. He buys me my jewelry, which is nice. But I don't think, because of my background, I don't know if I could ever walk in a store and say, I want to buy that diamond bracelet. I don't even think I have the guts to do it. All I think in my mind is my dad going, oh, that jewelry, dealer, he loves when you walk in the store. But yeah, so I invest more in that way. Yeah.
Right. Also, you own a team, the celebrity, the box, BCL team. Why did you decide to invest in this cricket team?
Well, Balaji came to us with this idea of owning, this property, and we love the idea of being able, again, to invest our money into something that could have a return. When you're dealing with Balaji, when you're dealing with colors, it's kind of like this sure bet of being able to invest your money properly. And, my husband also was very keen on the idea of doing this. He thought it would be a lot of fun. And it's turned out to be fun. And we've gotten a lot of different sponsors who've come on board with the Chennai Swaggers. There's my shameless plug. So, it's something that has turned out to be a lot of fun. And when you're dealing with reality and you're dealing with cricket, which is a religion here, it's like a nice relationship.
Last two questions. You've also launched your line of perfumes. How are people responding to it? And going forward, what do you have lined up in terms of investments in launching products? Would you want to have your own fashion line also in the next few months?
I launched Lust by Sunny Leone. Again, it was one of my husband's like the key to everything that I want to do. One night I said, I want to have my own perfume. Why can't we have one? It's something that I've always wanted to do. I don't expect some big brand to take me as a brand ambassador, so why don't we just make it ourselves? And that was when the idea went off, and we said, we know so many different people that in this industry that we've met that we can actually make this ourselves, invest our own money, and hopefully have a return on it. We've sold out of our first stock, so I'm very excited. And we have another line of perfumes for male and female coming out. We also have a line of lipsticks and nail polish. And the male and female, the same scent, the Dio is coming out. That'll happen in the next few months.
In terms of startups, you think they are an exciting option for you to look at?
The only thing with startups, I'm just talking about myself, is because I'm not born and raised in this country. I'm not a Indian citizen. I'm an overseas citizen. It's really difficult for us to see the return on a startup. So I'm not sure how we would invest in that. We've looked into it a little bit, but I think right now what we want to do is just keep on merchandising, taking the equity we have now and placing it back into a brand that we own instead of being a brand ambassador.
Krishna, I'll bet Rahul was blushing all through that interview. But coming to the final segment of the day, which is Number Crunch. And the number we are crunching for you today is $25.5 billion. Now, that's the amount invested in VC-backed companies in the first quarter of 2016 globally, according to a report by CB Insights and KPMG. If you think that sounds like a great amount, don't, because it's far lesser than the previous quarters, which really signals a global slowdown as far as venture investing is concerned, as far as fund activity is concerned, and the story really is no different in India. Perhaps the tide will turn in the coming quarters, but for now, it's a dismal picture.
That's the big hope, Chandra, at this point in time. All we can say is that we just hope that, thanks to all the good macroeconomic cues and the good monsoon and the positive sentiment that is generated on Dalal Street will sort of rub off when it comes to Startup Street, and we will see far more venture capital backed funding than that number that is on your screens of around $25 billion. But on that note, we need to wrap things up here on ET Now Startup Central. But don't go anywhere, keep watching ET Now.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.